Skylar Harrell reporting live from ERHS ABC DEFG station, and boy do we have a story for you. Cases of mass hysteria have been popping up all over history lately, and no matter how many times they happen, people just don't learn from their mistakes. Let's start this off right with your daily definition. Say, what's the word of the day? Why, the word of the day is mass hysteria. That's MASSHYSTERIA. Here's the definition. And that comes straight from the dictionary, folks. You see, regardless of how ridiculous it may seem, most of us, particularly Americans, are quite susceptible to this mass hysteria, and it seems that we are constantly failing to learn from our actions. To this day, we remain susceptible to mass hysteria as people are led to this state by hatred and delusion, manipulation by people in power, and people's stubborn hold on their narrow worldviews. Today's news story is a situation going on in Salem. We have my colleague Stephen Storm on the scene at this very moment. Stephen?
Hello, Abigail. Hello. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. You're welcome. I have a few questions for you about the recent events that happened in Salem. Would you like to comment on anything? Oh, sure. Can you tell me a little about what Goody Proctor did to you?
Okay, so Goody Proctor, she took this puppet and she stabbed it with a needle and used her witchcraft to make it harm me. And so I found a needle in me as I was eating my dinner. It was horrible. I still have a mark.
So she stabbed you in your arm, correct?
Yes.
But didn't you testify that she stabbed you in your stomach? Could it be that you lied in court?
I didn't lie!
Have you been conspiring with other people of the village of Salem to overthrow the government?
No!
Have you been falsely accusing these people of working with conspirators?
Witch! 2 hours later.
So those were some colorful characters, but they were not the only ones in Salem convinced that witchcraft was going on. Despite there being a lack of tangible evidence, the judges and some people of Salem took the word of the accusers for proof. As depicted in Tonkin Harrison Matteson's painting, they even examined the accused for moles since they believed them to be marks of the devil. Over 200 people were jailed and 20 were executed for this imaginary crime. So, why did this all happen? According to Arthur Miller's play adaptation, The Crucible, some of the driving forces behind the trials were Abigail Williams and her friends. Many of the accused were people they hated or simply did not like. However, at some point they convinced even themselves that it was all real. In the play, they experienced physical symptoms of witchcraft, such as turning cold while they were pretending to be cursed by witches. In short, the girls, as well as many others convinced of witchcraft, were delusional. It goes to show how hatred and delusion can cause mass hysteria. For more on this, we turn to an expert Tina Knowles.
Thanks, Skylar. While the Salemites' desire for vengeance and belief that they were being bewitched were the main driving forces in the witch trials, there were other forces in play. In the adaptation of the event, The Crucible, one of the most powerful families at the time, the Putnams, helped spread witch hysteria in order to accuse and eliminate their rivals like John Proctor and the nurses. The Putnams and other powerful people helped spread mass hysteria for their own benefits. Their theocratic government and their tight grip on religion did not help either, as it led them to believe in the existence of witches as well as hold spectral evidence as proof.
And that seems to be all the news we have on the Salem witch trials, and this just in. Joseph McCarthy has identified yet another communist by name. It seems that Stephen is on the scene right now, helping us out and interviewing him this very moment. Steve, talk to us.
Thank you, Skylar. Right now I have Joseph McCarthy with me. Can you tell us about your recent findings?
Oh yeah, turns out I have discovered a brand new communist in our midst. They're everywhere.
Okay, Joseph, tell us who this individual is.
Oh, I'll tell you, all right. His name is right on this paper, and it will shock you because let me tell you, this guy, he just seems like your average Joe, just a normal person. But no, he is spying on the nation that we all love and live in.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty terrifying, Joe. Can you tell us the name of this individual?
Oh, I'll tell you, alright? It'll knock your socks off, and not just your socks, your grandma's socks, because your grandma could be a communist spy.
Okay, but can you just read the name off the paper?
No, it's confidential information. You call me spy.
Your claims. Okay, cut the camera. Cut the camera.
Well, that was Joseph McCarthy, folks. I see he hasn't changed much over time. You see, according to the Cold War Museum, Senator McCarthy, to boost his popularity, began to accuse government workers as well as well-known figures of being communists, including people who challenged him. In spite of his lack of evidence, he managed to get the Senate to move forward with an investigation. Even though the American people eventually realized his evil, he had managed to trick the people of the United States for a while that his malicious agenda was a patriotic attempt to rid the country of communist spies that were not actually there. McCarthy used the mass hysteria he caused to boost his popularity and power, which makes him a prime example of the manipulation by people in power causing mass hysteria. People in this time period were especially vulnerable to mass hysteria due to the communist threat. McCarthy decided to capitalize on that. And now we turn to Emma to give us a little bit more information on McCarthyism.
So while McCarthy's hunt for communists may have been overzealous and had malicious intentions, the communist threat at the time was very real. According to ushistory.org, in 1947, a high-level State Department employee named Alger Hiss was convicted of espionage charges. This heightened the fear of communists in the United States. At that time, the Soviet Union was the only global power that could challenge the United States. So while McCarthy's campaign was harmful and irrational, it was fueled by real and legitimate fears.
Well, I think that just about covers that out-of-the-blue McCarthyism story, and oh wait, we're just getting word of a new situation of mass hysteria. Thank you. Looks like Stephen is on the scene with an anti-vaxxer. What could possibly be so wrong about vaccines? Well, let's see what all the buzz is about. Stephen, you're on.
Thank you, Skylar. Today I have with me Helga Whitman. Hello, Helga. Can you please tell us about yourself?
First, let me put on this piece of protective headgear. It protects me from the government's waves that they're using to control us. Okay, sorry, go on. Yes, hi, I'm the Helga Whitman. I am one of the proud anti-vaxxers of America.
Why are you against vaccines? Don't they help cure people from so many diseases?
That's just what the government and the mainstream media wants you to think. Vaccines cause autism. We want to protect our children from the deadly autism.
Are there any studies or research done that proves that it causes autism?
Of course, there's like all of the research. That guy, the 90s.
Could you be specific, please?
My neighbor had a cousin who knew this guy whose child got autism after he got a vaccine.
So there are no proven studies.
I mean, there was that one study.
So there are no proven studies.
Actually, you know what? No, you're just fake news. You and all the mainstream media, you lies.
Could you please explain to me?
Fake news, fake. Trying to attack those of us who are trying to take America back. Fake news.
Well, that was interesting. Looks like things have not changed much. How could people believe something that has been continuously refuted by science? According to Julia Belluz at Vox.com, it all started in 1998, when a medical journal published a study by Andrew Wakefield suggesting that the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine could cause autism. The study was widely discredited, and Wakefield ended up losing his medical license. However, people took to the article and started to spread the belief that vaccines were dangerous to the mental well-being of children. People have continued to push back against vaccines even to this day, likely because of their stubborn distrust of mainstream science. They have refused to let go of this widely discredited idea. Now we turn to Afe for expert news.
Hello. So we know that closed-mindedness is a big factor in the mistrust against vaccines, but there are other factors in play as well. It is not helping that some people in power are spreading this untrue belief. According to the Washington Post, President Donald Trump is considering establishing a vaccine safety commission to be led by Robert Kennedy Jr., a known anti-vaxxer. During the presidential campaign, Donald Trump repeatedly pandered to anti-vaxxers as he expressed doubts in vaccine safety. Hopefully, one day, people will have a little more faith in the scientific community.
Thank you for your input. And that has been the Anti-Vaxxers, folks. Gee, it has been a rather eventful show today. We've had mass hysteria caused by the upper class in the Salem community due to a reluctance to accept that witches do not exist. We've had the series of accusations led by John McCarthy, who used his audience's fear of communism to boost his status and position. And finally, we've had the movement of anti-vaxxers, who were unable to accept the views of mainstream science. Phew! It is clear that we have a long way to go before we can fully prevent outbreaks of mass hysteria. We can, however, take steps to prevent such events from happening again. It is important that we educate those within our community in order for them to understand that you must learn the true facts before spreading false information. Like Kofi Annan said, education is the premise of progress in every society. With education, we can make the masses less susceptible to mass hysteria. Well, this has been the Daily News with Skylar Hale and Stephen Storm. Have a hysterical day!